as part of our evolutionary development, part of how our DNA has been messed with, part of how it's been put us into a state of not our full potential. And then there is our evolution in general, and that our evolution in general, that we came from a simplistic place consciously, and we're evolving and evolving. So that process is a long and a slow one, or has been a long and a slow one. But because the energies on the planet are changing right now, that is speeding up and it's becoming more rapid. So the mantis have been really clear with me that as things are speeding up, as the energy is shifting and changing on the planet, we as humans are responding to that energy in a whole new way. And that response occurs through that morphogenic field of our DNA. So we are literally experiencing our environment real time through that morphogenic field. And that's how our body elicits a response, whether that's through our nervous system, whether that's through our physical being, because it's all happening as a physical being through the DNA. We have our soul's energy, and we have the energy of the earth that is where all of the elements came that created our physical being. But then we also have this physical being here, right? And the two are in collaboration, or I should say the three are in collaboration to create this experience for ourselves while we're here. And keeping in mind that we have the backdrop of all of the experiences our soul has already had. So all of those things combined are what is interacting with your environment all the time. And so that morphogenic field is the place where all the action happens. It's the go-between between all those energies coming in, as well as your physical being's response to it. So in that morphogenic field, we have basically the playground to which we can work with to start making some shifts. We can clean up the playground when it gets full of toys left behind, right? And lots of clutter, clearing out some of that clutter. And this is an important thing to do because we want it to be clean and clear, and we want to have really fresh and de novo responses to our environment. We don't want to have responses that are keyed in or are habituated from our brain to our environment, because then they're not coming from the present moment. They're coming from some other point in time or experience. And we want our responses to really be fresh and to be purely responsive to what's in front of us. If there isn't a tiger in front of us, we don't want our body to get into a stress response as if there was a tiger in front of us, because there is a yellow tissue box in front of us that as a child we saw and is creating a stress response because something else stressful happened in front of that yellow tissue box, if that makes sense to you. So we have all these associative stress factors in our lives, things that create stress in our bodies and in our minds. And so clearing this morphogenic field is one of the ways that we can clean up some of those old memories and disassociate them. It's also the way that we can bring in new potentials, because as we are exposed to these new cosmic rays that are coming to the planet, the information that's coming from our sun, the information that's coming from the cosmos in general, affects our morphogenic field greatly. This is our communication with our star families. This is our communication with all of our ancestors and the people and the beings that are here trying to serve and to help us. But if we can't receive their messages because our morphogenic field is so muddled with other stuff from our soul background and from our current life background, that we can't really even notice or discern or hear those messages from those who are trying to help us, then it doesn't do us much good. So with all these cosmic and plasma rays that are coming and streaming into the planet right now that are trying to activate our potential, we want to help our DNA be as ready as possible to receive that information and to respond to it accordingly. So for humanity to evolve in a conscious way that takes advantage of everything that's available to us right now and puts us in that prime spot to meet our potential and to expand upon it, we need to be in a ready state. And that's what we're up to right now. And now we move into this emotional field, which is not right on the DNA, but just above it in that morphogenic field. And this is where those emotional responses really, I would say that this is where they live. This is where they tend to clutter things up and hang out. And so you're born with some of them because some of them come in with our Akash, and some of them are acquired throughout our lifetimes. And it's an ongoing process doing this type of clearing, because throughout our lives, we're constantly having new experiences, and things can happen to us that are stressful, scary, or cause some level of trauma, even if they're micro traumas. I talked before about micro traumas, and that's those little things that happen that add up to a larger feeling of stress or trauma in the body, but they build up over time because they're small, but they're consistent. And whenever the human body, or I'd say the experience, has a chronic experience of stress or fear or grief or sadness, it can create these changes to our genome and the way our genome behaves.